What up team, it's your MurderInc here. Today we're going to be talking about Teodor the Savant, new Knight Revenant, legendary support champion, and we have a few things to go over. Fantastic champion, I'm sure everyone by now has heard of him. He's previously in this 10 times event here, and few red flags. I've been getting DM'd like crazy over the past weekend saying, Murder, do you think this guy's going to get nerfed? I don't know. It's possible. I know Plarium, they do some testing in their champions, but think back to Eurogrim. Eurogrim was not as good as this guy. He was an epic void champion for sure. He wasn't a legendary, but he was nerfed. He was nerfed, I don't want to say to the ground, but he could still do a few things, but it required like really endgame gear. So the question is, are they going to nerf Teodor the Savant here? Is he too strong? Now, this is a really hard kind of concept and conversation to have because, in my opinion at least, and I think many people will agree, you should never nerf any champion. It should be tested properly before being released. And listen, there are always going to be amazing champions and not so amazing champions. We have those, of course. This guy definitely raises the bar quite significantly as far as solo champions go, but let's think back really quickly to Eurogrim because we can kind of just go to the champion now. One of the main reasons they nerfed Eurogrim, to my understanding at least, he's an Ogrin, let's just find him real quick, is because it was allowing newer players. He wasn't easy to pull, so he's really tanky, really good for an epic champion, and he was just overperforming. He was definitely outshining a lot of legendary solo champions like Bad L, Tomb Lord, all of that good stuff. So now we have a legendary that's doing that. I don't want to say more than, because it's really hard to say. Teodor is outshining Eurogrim as far as how strong he is coming into the game here. One's an epic, and anytime an epic is performing that well, you know there's kind of a balancing issue there. So was Eurogrim's nerf justified? I see why they do it. Like I said, I don't think any nerf's justified. Rotos, I don't think they expected Rotos to turn out how Rotos did, so I understand the tuning on Rotos. They didn't kill the champion. In my opinion, that's one of the few nerfs they did that was rather tame through this game here. But getting back to the main point, Teodor is farming so quickly because his animations are lightning fast. That's the key to this champion here. On top of his base stats, 105 base speed, crazy. Base defense 1200, HP being 20,805. Now, this is kind of a bait in my opinion. I'm going to tell you why. People may not agree with this, but just hear me out here. Tomb Lord can solo everything that Teodor can to an extent, and he might even be considered better by some people because he has defense down and attack down. They both do a little bit different things, but as far as the solo aspect goes, Teodor's going to do it quicker. You need endgame gear for both of them, so Teodor is the obvious choice for an endgame player that has an easy time accessing the gear. You're going to gear them both similarly. You need health, HP, regen set, or just a speed set and immortal gear like I've done with Teodor in the test server. You can't pair him with the same champions. Like I have a run that you can see where I use Teodor as well as 2 Calvalics. Who the heck has that? Not many people. I'm lucky enough to have 2 Calvalics on my account, so it did work out pretty well, but they'll have the same strengths and weaknesses, right? You can build them as good as you want. If you get crit too many times, they're gonna fall over. It is what it is. They are strong affinity for stage 25, which is good, which is why they are so strong for sure, but if they get crit, it is what it is. You do need crit rate on Tomb Lord, making him harder to build than someone like Teodor, but you can get Tomb Lord, I'm not going to say easily, but easier than trying to pull a champion on it 10 times. You can save up 3,000 of these tokens if you're a newer player, slowly getting rid of any champions, legendaries specifically, obviously, that you don't want or aren't good for your account. You can make an argument, save it for faction guardians. What if you pull a dupe down the line? Honestly, having someone that's able to solo farm with food in something like a dragon, which is going to make up the bulk of your farming for a very long time in this game, it's nice to have the option of Tomb Lord right here in the token trader shop for when you can eventually get the 3,000 life tokens from here. So is it a bait? Not so much if you're an endgame player. If you're an early game player, maybe it did force some people to spend money that they normally wouldn't have spent for this 10 times event. Like I've said 1,000 times, and I've showed the graphs for 10x events, they're never worth it. You can get lucky and pull it, and you can say 10x events are so good, they're the greatest, but you just got extremely lucky because I believe it's like 1,500 ancient shards for a 50% chance on pulling a 10x champion if he's the only champion in the 10x pool. I know I did a video on this with a bunch of graphs, you can check that out if you're interested, but it was basically saying don't fall for the bait of a 10x. If you pull this guy, you pretty much hit the lottery as far as the early game goes. Like I said, base stats are crazy. You're going to fly through the game. The main point of this video is he strong enough to have Plarium nerf them? Now, you might be thinking, Murder, there's a 10 times event for this. They can't do that. Let me tell you right now, they can nerf any champion they want, 10x or not. That's not a factor to them. Would they upset the community? Absolutely, they would upset the community. No one wants to see this guy nerfed. Like I already said, nerfing is definitely not the way to go. He does synergize with poisons and HP burn, making him strong not only in Dragon, like Tomb Lord, but also in the spider dungeon, so it gives him an additional benefit over him. And yeah, I don't know, it's a hard sell. I'm worried about this champion, to be honest, because he is kind of above and beyond what we've seen from other champions that have came out. I know people in my clan personally are theory crafting and testing out teams who have already pulled this, of course, and they're breaking all kinds of speed records in spider, Ice Golem, as well as the Dragon for soloing and in normal teams here. So this guy's quickly becoming the new meta here. So I'm interested to see, and I'm kind of interested on what your guys' take is. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to say, don't nerf him, he shouldn't be nerfed. But more so, do you think Plarium's going to nerf this champion, even after doing a 10x event? Because let's be honest, his kit's pretty busted. I'm not a huge fan of how his A3 works. I think he could have been better. And now you might be saying, why would you make him better than he is? When he instantly activates and he poisons, it doesn't work for other champions' poisons. I've tried this with a team of Elenarval, Zavia, Calvalix, and he just doesn't ignite their poisons. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Maybe it's different on live servers. I haven't seen a live server run yet with this guy, but on test servers, he just wasn't activating anyone's poisons but his. So that's my only kind of qualm with this specific champion. I think it could have been way better. I mean, making a fantastic champion better. Maybe they did that on purpose, but poison sensitivity, increased speed. There's just so much going on for this champion here. Maybe this is going to be the new age of legendaries. I mean, the fusion's kind of terrible, so it's hard for me to believe that they're just going to be making champions like this guy all the time. Do I think it's smart? Not really, because think about how many older champions are nowhere near and will never be as good as this guy, right? Think about that. So they have a lot of rebalancing to do if this is the direction they want to go. If they're going to leave him, I think it's fine if they leave him. It's definitely going to make things a lot easier for those who get lucky. They'll probably get more shard purchases, and if they're smart, they include this guy in almost every single 10 times for the next year, right? If they do that, I mean, they're never going to make this guy guaranteed legendary. I hope I'm wrong, but he's way too strong. I don't think I mean, Sissia was guaranteed. She's also strong for spiders specifically, but this guy's just so all around. I don't think it would be a smart marketing move, and of course they're professionals with that, so they're gonna know better than anybody. They would make so much money if they made this guy guaranteed. They would make a lot of people angry who spent a lot of money trying to get him from this 10 times event. So curious about your feedback. Do you think he will survive? Do you think he will get nerfed because of how well he is performing currently? Everywhere, early game, mid game, late game, end game, just across the board. You rarely see a champion that stands out this much, which is why I wanted to make this video and kind of say it's not a scare video, but it's something to consider because he is performing that well. So that's going to conclude this video. Give me your thoughts, give me your feedback. I'm curious to know what you guys think. As always, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn the notification bell, and I will see you all in my next upload.